So what is being fat adapted? So being fat adapted is when you can switch from fuel sources, so carbs and fats, quite easily without suffering from things like the keto flu. It's also where you find that it doesn't take like a week to get yourself into a ketogenic state. I got a gift and it was a ketone and glucose monitor. And basically you just get strips for checking your glucose and strips for checking your ketone levels. And basically you just pop the strips in here, prick your finger, put the drop of blood on. I always wash my hands first, prick my finger, then you dab the first bit of blood away first. Then you test off your second drop of blood, because then it's more of an accurate reading. And basically what I'd done was I had a break for Christmas, so I was eating carbs and chocolate and all the stuff that is nice to eat at Christmas. But one thing I did find is by the end of Christmas, all the symptoms of before I used to do keto started to come back after 2 weeks. Start feeling groggy because you're eating carbs all the time. You get sort of foggy brain. You don't get much mental clarity. Also, I suffer with really bad acid indigestion. I have to constantly take sort of like Rennie and Gaviscon and stuff like that to sort of keep the heartburn acid at bay. When I'm on keto, it completely goes, and I can pretty much get away with eating whatever I like carb wise if I have a break, like if I go on holiday. And I can usually do about 2 weeks of eating carbs and stuff, and I won't get any heartburn. But then after 2 weeks, it starts to kick in. You can feel it start to creep back. Hence why I'd rather just stay keto for the whole year. You know, like I said, I don't mind having the odd 2 weeks off. I am now fully fat adapted. I have proven that with these tests. And I've actually logged all of my readings day by day. Just so I could share it with you guys and let you know sort of when the best time is to test. So at first I was waking up in the morning, going to work. We've got a gym in the office, so I'd go to the gym in the morning, train for about 45 minutes. Then about an hour later I would test and see what my blood glucose levels were and what my ketone levels were. Mind you, the first day I tested, I was eating sort of Cadbury's chocolate at like 11 o'clock at night before I went to bed. So it was a completely raw test from scratch, because I basically still had carbs in my system. I wasn't even really fasted. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. But I just thought, as a baseline, I'll just do a test, see what it comes out as. And on day one, my glucose levels were 82 milligrams per deciliter, which is quite stable actually, considering that I was eating sugar at night. And I actually had 0.1 millimoles of ketones actually in my system already by 9 o'clock. So they say it's not really detectable. You can't really say you're in ketosis. Ketosis, they say, is from about 0.5, then upwards is like deep ketosis. One thing that I didn't realise is that actually in the morning you get like your liver releases glucose in the morning, so your glucose levels are always a bit elevated in the morning. Plus I went to the gym, which then makes your liver produce more glucose because you're just trying to feed your muscles. So actually my first 2 days I was testing in the morning, and then on day 3 I tested at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just before I had my first meal of the day, because I fast all the way through the morning up until 2 p.m. Then I test myself, then I'll eat my lunch. So that gives me a more of a accurate reading doing it at that time of the day. But obviously this is lessons learned. I've never used one of these before. So I just gave it a go in the morning just to see what would happen first thing in the morning. But after day 3, I kind of realised. So day 2, during the day as well, or in the morning up until I eat my first meal, I only have black coffee, that's it. Water, black coffee, maybe a few electrolytes, like a bit of Celtic sea salt, just on the tongue. But apart from that, nothing, no eating at all. Then on day 2, I was 105 milligrams per decilitre of glucose after the gym again, and 0.2 millimoles of ketones. So it's actually started to creep up a little bit. You know, we're not in ketosis yet, but it's traceable in the blood, so something was happening. Then on day 3 again, it was 0.3 in the morning. So again, it's creeping up a little bit, and my glucose was 108. I then tested again at 3 p.m. and at 2 p.m. sorry, and I had 90 milligrams per decilitre of glucose, and my ketones had shot right up to 0.7. So I was officially in ketosis after day 3 at 0.7. So that was really good. Then that evening, I went to the cinema with my wife. We went to go and watch a movie, and I took some snacks in, some keto snacks, but I had a grenade bar, and I ate that probably about 10:30 at night. I checked my ketones the next day at 2 o'clock, just before I ate, and my ketones had dropped down to 0.4. So I just dipped below the 0.5, but they were still traceable. I still had quite a lot in my system, but obviously you could tell that the grenade bar had actually dipped my ketone production for a few hours. But again, the next day, I tested again, and I didn't go to the gym that day. It was one of my rest days, and I fasted until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and by then my glucose was at 88 milligrams and my ketones were at 1.2, so they were really high then. And that just shows that after sort of 3-4 days, I'm back in full-blown ketosis. So it's really interesting to test it out and see how it works. But one thing I am going to do is I've ordered a continuous keto monitor. And that will be really interesting, because that one, you stick it on the back of your arm like a continuous glucose monitor. You have an app on your phone, and it will show you everything you eat, when you rest, when you wake up, your ketone levels as they go throughout the day. I will be a guinea pig for all my followers. I am going to eat carbs, come off keto, then I'm going to fast, see how quickly I can get them back. Then I will fast all morning, and then I will have like a can of Diet Coke at midday, just to see what happens, and I'll share it with all of you. If there's any tests you want me to try, anything you want me to eat to see how it impacts my ketone levels, just pop it in the comments. I'll give it a go as well. But yeah, I'm literally it's a 14-day monitor. So in that 14 days, I am going to test it to my heart's content. Everything I can think of, I'm going to try. Obviously you'll get to see my ketone levels when I'm sleeping. So, because it's continuous, even when I'm not doing tests by eating foods and stuff, you're still going to see how it changes throughout the day. When I wake up in the mornings, if I have a bad night's sleep, which obviously I'll keep a diary of everything I'm eating, what time I'm eating, how it affects me. If I have a bad night's sleep, I'll write that in my diary. All them sort of things, just so we can have a look over the data and have a look at actually, how everyday life can affect your ketosis, and maybe bust a few myths as well of, you can't eat that because it's not keto. You can eat that, if you eat this much food, it's going to kick you out of ketosis. We'll myth bust a few of them. It'd be quite interesting. And also it means going forwards, even if I haven't got the continuous ketone monitor, at least I know in future what certain foods are going to do to me and what they're going to do to my ketone levels. So I'll probably do the full 14 days of monitoring first, and then I'll do like a roundup video. Or if you want me just to do daily diary, just tell you my ketone levels every day, how it changed, a little sort of like a vlog every day. I don't mind doing that as well. If you want to hear that, just let me know in the comments. But I'll leave that for now. There's plenty to think about for me, and I can't wait to get my continuous monitor anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.